Okay, I think we're live. It's always a fun thing if you've watched these before. You always see me in this awkward time for about 10 seconds just to make sure I'm actually broadcasting. Because it takes about 10 seconds to kick in. It looks like we're just going to go ahead and get started. Thanks for jumping in to the NCYC live stream on February 15th. If you are watching this live, I'd like to encourage you to take part in joining us in the chat. And all you need to do that is simply, let me just see how to do this. On the video itself, there should be a little icon that allows you to click in the YouTube section. Hold on, I'm all over the place here. So there's the chat. I just got to get it popped out real quick. This is odd for me. Okay. So I think I can keep moving forward with this. All right, so good. Everybody can see me. Cool. So I'm going to start sharing this PowerPoint with you. So if you want to jump in the chat anytime, just go ahead and type something in there. I'll be trying to keep my eye on the chat the whole time as we're progressing. If you have any questions, otherwise comments, there will be times I stop and say, hey, let's ask a question here. So bear with me as I try to figure out how to share my screen. This is not something too difficult. Okay, boom. So you should be able to see the PowerPoint at this point. That's my hunch that you are. If somebody can just go ahead and verify in the chat with a thumbs up or some kind of, we see the PowerPoint, it should be a little NCYC visual with NCYC group leaders live streaming. So just making sure that you can see the PowerPoint as we are projecting it. I would think so, but any second now somebody will say something. I see it. Thank you. It's always the same culprits that pay attention. All right, so here's what we're going to do this morning. I just want to give you a quick update on the delegation. We're going to talk about forms just to make it easier for you to understand kind of what you need to collect in the next few months as we move forward. I'm going to give you a tour of the group leader portal. This is the on-site database that you can access and do this, where you'll do a lot of your work and be able to see your group. I'm going to propose a plan for a parent participant meeting coming up. Then we'll talk about the youth accompaniment plan moving forward as well. So here we go. All right, so here we are in our NCYC group update. So you see the little table here. This is, you can't get an NCYC presentation without a chart. So here we are. This is our NCYC numbers in January for the past 5 NCYCs. So 2011, we had at this point in January, we had 1,228. 2013, we had almost 1,400. 2015, we had about 1,650. 2017, we had about almost 1,800 people. And now you see our number for the first time in 10 years, our numbers are actually lower this year, that's absolutely fine. I'm not worried about that at all. Our current delegation size is about 1,650. That includes 7 people on a waiting list, and the waiting list is getting longer. So as of this morning, I got to add 2 to that at least, plus whatever else y'all might be throwing my way after this conversation. Some of you are aware, and if you've been a part of this conversation, we are partnering with 2 other dioceses. So we are partnering with the Archdiocese of Anchorage, Alaska, and we're partnering with the Diocese of San Bernardino, California. San Bernardino let me know last week they're actually looking forward to rooming with us and staying with us at one of our hotels so we can actually build stronger relationships with those young people and those adults. Great intercultural exchange to understand what American Catholicism's like in Southern California. So excited about having San Bernardino join us. They will be added onto these numbers, especially for lodging. That's going to become important in just a few seconds. So our number altogether, you know, I don't know, will that be like 1,700 people, right? So here's where it comes interesting. We have right now 5 hotels on our block. These are the same 5 hotels we've used in the past. So with the Wyndham Hotel, which is the largest, serves about 730 people. The Crown, which is our second largest hotel, serves about 530. The Hyatt, we're going to only have about 200 people in that hotel this year, and the Wingate about 220. The Courtyard serves about 115 people. The issue is, if you total up all of those hotel spaces, we get room for about 1,810 folks. So here's the deal. I don't want to have to pay for hotel rooms we're not going to use. That's just not good stewardship. So I explored the idea of getting rid of the Courtyard. If we drop the Courtyard, our hotel capacity would be right about 1,695 people. So you do this math, and that only allows us maybe to grow by about 10 spots. Now, I'd like to leave a lot of wiggle room. I know that I trust that some of you are hearing from people who are asking the question, is it too late to sign up? So what I'm curious about is if we were to open the recruitment window or to keep it open for us to grow our group sizes until the end of May. May 31st is going to be kind of an important deadline for us. If you had a finger on the pulse of your population, just if you can go ahead and throw this into the chat if you don't mind, do you sense that your group could grow? Do you think your group is pretty much stagnant? It's going to absolutely stay the same? Or do you think your group might actually get a bit smaller? I mean, if you had a guess right now, if we were to encourage you to open those doors up and start recruiting some more, maybe see if we can find another 100 people to fill this Courtyard Hotel, do you think we would actually grow? Do you think you would stay the same? Or do you think you would see your group size get even smaller in the next few months? So if you can just go ahead and type into the chat what you think is going to happen with your group, that gives us a sense of knowing whether or not we want to hold on to this Courtyard Hotel or whether we want to get rid of it and save some money. I'd rather have the space. Jim and I are committed that anyone who wants to go gets to go. So that would be that would just be really helpful for us to know if we should be planning for potentially more people or about the same. So I see some chats coming in, and just go ahead and keep those coming. We'll go back and look at that, and that'll be feeding us. So you can also see what other people are sending in the chat too, if you're curious to see what other groups are thinking. But here's how that process is going to work with group size changes. We set a deadline of February 1st to send the invoice out to the finance office, and so after that they're going to kick that out. So we sent that February 1st at noon. I gave them the information for all of your groups. Most of you should have received an invoice already. If you haven't, please let me know. As soon as noon happened on February 1st, I started getting emails with group size changes, and that's not a problem. We are totally situated for this. If you need to decrease your group size, if you bought 20 spots but you only need 15, just let me know. You think you're going to be getting rid of about 4 or 5 spots. I try to find another parish to buy those spots from you, and so these two actually go hand in hand. If I sell your spot, the payments are non-refundable. So if you're on the hook for that $100 per spot. But if I can find another parish to buy it, you will get a credit in your next statement for the amount of spots you've sold. Okay. Some of you have already gone through this process, and you'll see it in your NCYC portal when you log into it. If you increase your group size, I'm going to add you to a waiting list. Right now, we've got about 9 to 15 people, it looks like, on a waiting list to grow their group. I'll keep you on that waiting list until I find either a parish to sell you a spot, or it becomes March 31st. At the end of March, if we can have enough hotel rooms to accommodate that, we're just going to fold you into our group, and then we will issue a charge for all previous payments for that spots and the future payments and the April payment for that spot. So that's how we're going to keep moving that. And that'll be the same process for the June payment as well. So if you need to increase or decrease your group size, very simple. Shoot me or Jim an email and let us know 2 things. How many spots do you want to add, and what should the final number in your group be? I ask for both of those things because oftentimes they're not the same. So a group of 10 will say, can you please add 3 spots to our group so we can have a group of 15? And we're looking at a group of 10 going, how do you get 10 plus 3 equals 15? That's why I ask for both of those, just to make sure they are the same. If at this point you are thinking of somebody dropped, but you found a replacement in your own group, we'd call that a substitution. You don't need to let us know about that at all. If you have already registered them online, all you need to do is go into your group leader portal. You need to delete the former attendee and create a new registration for the new attendee. It's very simple, right? And then your numbers will stay the same. If you've not done that online, you don't need to tell me. I don't care. All right. So this is going to be true until the end of May. Again, on June 1st, things start to change because Jim and I are going to be processing the actual registration stuff for the national organization for the NFCYM. So after June 1st, we're not sure what that process will be like. There's a good chance you will still be able to make your substitutions on your group leader portal. but just be attentive to the fact that might be a new process. So after June 1st, things start to tighten up a little bit. That we're going to start calling that the kind of the real number for the archdiocese. Like I anticipate that based on the comments here in the chat, we will probably see a little uptick in numbers. So to the point where I'm thinking we might want to hold on to that hotel until June 1st. And then if we see ourselves stagnated at that point, we will go ahead and make our final decisions about hotel rooms after June 1st. That means if somebody comes on board and wants to grow into your group and come into your group, you want to add a spot, we might not be able to do that until there's another parish who's able to sell you a spot. All right, so after June 1st, this process will change pretty much a bit. All right, so if your group size has changed since you've received the invoice, please pay the invoice amount as you are billed. It's a bit of a process for accounting and our finance office. We will take care of making it right in the next statement. So if you had 40 spots and now you only have 30 and we billed you for 40, you're on the hook for those 40. We will give you 10 credits, for, the $1,000 credit in the April bill. So please pay the whole bill. If you've added spots, please don't pay in advance. Please do not pay for those spots coming up. We will take care of that in April. And if you just want to throw money our way because you're nice, do that some other way, but don't send that to all us in the check for your NCYC unless it's very well clear that the finance office knows how much is towards that NCYC invoice. Okay, it's really important to keep that clear. Another good opportunity to start talking about recruiting good chaperones and working on faith mentors. Never a bad idea. When you're talking about fundraising, we've talked about this in past live streams, but if you can talk about focused fundraising, using Catholic principles and helping to form your group that way. Partner dioceses an update. I was able to talk with both diocesan directors from Anchorage and San Bernardino last week. They're both just thrilled. The Archdiocese of Anchorage is using our contributions to them as a matching fund. So they're actually turning the amount that we've pledged to them, and they're going to be able to double that with other donors. So we're making a huge difference to that. San Bernardino, like I said, they're going to be kind of enfolded into our delegation as far as lodging. They're going to be a separate delegation, but staying with us and busing with us downtown every day. We are still committing to sending them money. And they are, because we were able to give them some money to get a group started, they have some people who are actually in their diocese who are actually paying to come. The full ride, whatever it costs, some of their more affluent people, they wouldn't have even been able to go unless we were first subsidizing those who couldn't go. So this is kind of cool. So both dioceses are looking to bring between 15 and 30 people, of which our contributions allowing them to actually exist as a delegation or double as a delegation. That's pretty cool. So at this point, I do not know what the procedure is going to be for collecting money that goes specifically to one of these delegations. So Martin, I see your question here. If you have committed to raising money for these delegations or are willing to collect maybe $5 a kid in whatever your group package price is to offset some of these expenses for these partner dioceses. First of all, they are incredibly grateful. I just cannot tell you how excited they are that this diocese has committed to supporting that. We are looking to get from them videos talking about what life is like in Anchorage and San Bernardino, just so you can show that to your young people to get them kind of excited about this partnership and maybe collect some money to go with that. I anticipate, Martin, and everybody else, that we will just ask for you to send a check to us, but we are in the process of determining the procedure. There might be a form so we know how that check needs to be deposited to be turned over into either offsetting their rooming expenses with us for San Bernardino or to send a cash donation just to their diocese. So all of that will come through us, and then we will take care of getting it to them. But thanks for your willingness to partner. If you haven't explored this yet, whether or not you wanted to raise money in your group specific to supporting these dioceses, I'd ask you to pray about that, talk about it with your pastor. We're hoping to raise $10,000 for each diocese. So we're hoping our diocese can raise $20,000. That's a lot of money. But just it's an incredible amount of good to bring a real rich diversity, ethnic diversity, but also just allowing the people who otherwise would never have been able to see this universal church a chance to see 25,000 young people at Lucas Oil Stadium. That's what we're hoping for. Okay, forms updates. Let's move on. So at this point, we're going to focus on like 3 specific forms. The individual registration form, it's up on the website right now on the group leader page at www.dbqarch.org/NCYC NCYC.gl is the group leader page. That's where you're going to find everything. The individual registration form has been a little bit of a tweak. We'll talk about in a little bit. The Arch Youth Liability Waiver you should have received an email with your is specific. I'm not sure that's one word, but this form is unique for your group. So it's going to list in the paragraphs on the form the parishes that you are serving in your NCYC group. If you did not get that email, please let me know. You need to be using the exact form that we send you. We'll talk more about that in a couple seconds. The national forms are not going to be coming out until August. That's what their lawyers have recommended to them. So we will not be getting those to you until probably mid to late August. So look for those then. You should also have an adult liability waiver. It's just a standard Archdiocesan adult liability waiver. We will need the youth liability and the adult liability. All right. So on the individual registration form, the top part here is just information you will need to complete the registration process. The bottom corner is a box that asks for the date of the most current CMG training, which replaced Virtu. So as of July 1st, all of our training, all of our adults, all of our volunteers and employees need to have completed the Safe Environment Training by Catholic Mutual Group, CMG training. We need to know the date that training was completed, and we need to know the date of their most current background check. Okay, if they are a new volunteer, they'll have to have a new background check. There's a whole process for this. I recommend you talk with your local safe environment coordinator. Each parish has a safe environment coordinator. We're asking all NCYC group leaders to take all of the adult individual registration forms, all the ones for your adults going with all this information, take it to your safe environment coordinator and have them give you the dates here of when the training was completed and when the background check was completed. That way, when all we're doing is double checking and we're verifying, which you've already verified. So rather than guessing, if you can have your safe environment coordinator do that for us before you do that. When you go to register the adults online, it will ask you for dates. If you can complete that for us, it's going to help us a great deal, and it's going to help you to make sure you're getting adults who are verified to go. Otherwise, you're going to just have to do more work later. All right. The Archdiocesan Youth Form, this is what was emailed to you. It's very simple. I just needed some signatures, a couple places. This box here is the demographic or the general contact information. This will be stuffed. A copy of this will be in each young person's lanyard. So if you need to get a hold of them or the medical information quickly, emergency contacts, this will have a 3-digit code up on the top that's going to be unique to your parish. And in the paragraph here, the big paragraph, it will list which parishes you're serving. That's how you're going to know that this is the right one for you. And it will not say 2017, it will say 2019. Gosh, I hope that is a true statement. Okay. Here's the Arch Adult Form, very standard, it's a simple paragraph. This should take about 3 seconds for all of your adults to fill out. Hotel rooming list, I just put this up on the group leader website this morning. This allows you, and again, this date here is changed. It now says 2019. I'm very excited to update that. That was a lot of work to make this form up to date. I just changed the number. This gives you a chance to put your young people and your adults into groupings that we will use for hotel rooms. I don't need this form until really hard deadline, September 1st. But if you're meeting with your people this spring already and you can kind of get your groupings done and we can get the hotel rooming assignments done before the chaos of the summer, that's going to make my job a lot easier. So if you can send this to us early, that'd be great. Otherwise, if you want to wait till the fall and the chaos of everything going on in August and summer, my hunch is they will be closing school a lot in August because of heat. Just so, well, might as well get ready for not having school then either. So anyway, get these forms to us when you can. This gives us a lot of opportunity to plug into those hotel rooms, get our hotel rooms lined up sooner than later. So here's the forms we need. The individual registration form, we talked about that previously, that you do not need to send to us. That is a form you collect so that you can know what's going on in your group. The Arch Youth Waiver, we do need that by the end of May, and we do need the Arch Adult Waiver by the end of May. That has a lot of information that we plug into the registration process, and we just keep track of a lot of that. In addition to these forms, we're going to need you to go online and do the registration process. We'll talk about that in a couple seconds. If you can send us the hotel rooming form, that's awesome. I love the due date of May 31st for these forms. Note, for veterans, these all used to be due to us by the end of August. We are moving that up to May. All right, so we're actually saying that's a requirement. And how we're following that up with is there is a payment change if you get all of these things to us by the end of May, the registration for your package price is $575 for the whole NCYC trip. After May, if you don't have these things into us by May, then the price goes up $20. So between somebody who's registered in the system and has their forms in after June 1st, it's now $595 per person in that package. We will just add a $20, what am I calling it? Like a delayed registration fee. You'll see that in a little bit too. Anything after September 1st is going to be $625 a person, or a $50 late registration fee. All right, so these NCYC waivers, you'll hear from us about those in August. We'll give you about 45 days to get those turned around to us. So those we're going to need to collect from you by September 30th. If you can get it to us before then, that is dandy. All right, Group Leader Portal is a chance for you to look at your information. You should all received a login and password for the Group Leader Portal. I'm going to give you a quick tour about that this morning, show you what you can do with that. But this will be your ability to see what our numbers are for your group size and make sure that kind of looks right to you. And when you register people, it'll tally them all up to make sure all the numbers are right. If they're not, you might be being billed for group, for a different number, and then that kind of gets weird. It'll allow you to see your financial records and your balance due, and every time if you made a payment, you'll be able to see that recorded. You can anticipate what the invoice amount's going to be coming. So all of that's helpful for you to be able to track your group that way. Again, this is where you need to put in your group's registration information. All of your adults and youth need to be registered into this system. We take it from there, and we do the registration of the national site based on what you give us here. So this is important. Again, if that can be done by the end of May, we're going to be able to get you that original price of $575 a person. The reason we have that May is because the NCYC gave us an earlier deadline. There's an early bird rate for the registration. We're hoping to get almost all of our diocesan delegation in at that early bird rate. Otherwise, that's where the price comes in. Their price goes up $20 after that first early bird rate. And so we're just passing that cost on to you. We can't absorb that. It'll allow you, once we give you access and when we start doing the hotel rooming assignments, you'll be able to log in and see who's roomed with whom, especially if there's people from other parishes sharing a room with some of the kids from your parish. That'll happen every once in a while. You'll be able to see your bus roster too, especially if you're sharing a bus. Or for some of you, if you're on 15 buses, you know who you are. You'll be able to see how you've broken up your bus roster. You'll also be able to order things like journals. If you want print journals sent to your parish, you can do that, and also pizza slices. Last year, we did something called snack bags, where you can order a bunch of snacks. I'm not sure we're going to be doing that this year. It was kind of chaotic, but that's going to depend on the hotel coordinators attached to the hotels that you are assigned to. So stay tuned on that. That might be something we do available, but at this time, we're pretty committed to doing pizza, and we will have a journal available for you soon. So when you log into the Group Leader Portal, you should come to the Group Leader Portal homepage. This is what you're going to first see when you log in. You'll see there's a couple tabs here on the top. You can see your group leader, just your group information, your financial records, your group size history, and your group roster. There's buttons at the top that'll take you to other parts of this as well. They're not all active at this point. There should be some more information on this page. You'll be able to see the parishes you're serving, bus assigned and hotel assigned once that becomes done, building information, etc. So once you click on the financial records, it'll take you to a list of all of the things that are going on in your financial situation. So because this is the Pastoral Centers group, which we have a group here, we don't get charged for that. I'm not going to send myself a bill. So that's why you don't see any charges, but you would see the date of it'll say February 1st and the last charge that we just sent to you a couple weeks ago. Also, it's important to see, here's the payment cycle, and here's when you're going to be getting payments and how much they are. Here's the delayed registration of $20 I talked about for anything after May 31st. And the substitution rate after September 1st was $25, and the late registration after September 1st was $50. So it all fits in the cost of the pizza slices, the cost of the journal. There also will be a note here at the bottom. I'm hoping to keep that current, that will anticipate what your next bill will be based on the next billing amount. So this is where you'll be able to see all of your financial records. If you click on the group size history, This will tell you what's happened to your group size anytime you've bought or sold spots, anytime you've changed your group, etc. Oh, also in the financial records, I'll go back here too. If somebody from your group gets a low income discount or a hardship discount, that'll also be reflected on your financial records here. It'll say, John Smith is issued a hardship discount for $300, and it'll just show up as a credit here, and that'll reduce the amount you have due. Okay, group size history will reflect anytime buy sell groups, and the credits from those transactions will show up on the financial records. The group roster will list all of the people that you register for your group. Remember, that's something you're going to have to go in here and do that. You'll be seeing that real quick. If you want to add new participants, there's a button right here to help you do that. If you want to make changes, you click on the Edit Participants button. Everything works. For all of the people you will see here, they will be listed by first name, last name, gender, and adult or youth. You will also see a little bubble over here on the right. If they are young, if they are youth registrants, you probably won't see a bubble, or it'll just be a green bubble. For adults, it'll give you some kind of status about their POC compliance. POC is protection of children. So to be POC compliant, they need to have been verified with a background check and a last Catholic Mutual Group Safe Environment training. Once that happens, so this right here is so whoever registered Kevin Fine did not put in the dates where he was verified by his local Safe Environment coordinator of having a CMG training and a background check. Once those dates are entered into his record, this will show that where it's pending verification or some status. Once Jim verifies all those dates are accurate, it'll change to actually being just a green bubble saying you're good to go. All right. So this is what you should be able to see the status of all of your adults as you register them in. Okay. So here's what the registration process looks like. It's very simple. It's going to ask you for all these fields to be completed. The phone numbers just need to be 10 digits. Please, no brackets or dashes, just 10 straight digits. You'll fill out the information, the t-shirt size, the email address. For a youth, you need to have a parent guardian email. Dietary needs or limitations, ethnicity, please check that. That's something we're tracking this year. Primary language, and any special needs that they might have, from mobility to sign language to anything, low gluten hosts. In addition to that, there's going to be specific sections for whether they're youth or whether they're adults. Youth, we're asking for mothers and fathers' names and their grade. For adults, we're asking if there's a clergy delegation or a religious delegation. And this is where we're asking for you to provide the dates of the last training and background checks. This box here is what Jim will be verifying. He'll log in here and click yes, it's been verified for the training or the background check. Once that process is done, you'll be able to see that he has verified these adults. All right. At the top, there's buttons. You can toggle back and forth between group homepage and participants. Once it becomes a practical, you'll be able to also see your hotel rooms and your bus list. Please, when you are done, log out. That's an important process to this. The log out allows other people to come in. The longer you're in the system, the more we're paying for people to, and it's goofy. If there's a background check prior to July 1st, that background check is still okay as long as they are still active. You do not have to redo the background check. Those background checks should be processed in. The CMG training does need to be done, though. Okay, thanks for the question. All right, so forming your group. Just a reminder here that NCYC is a faith formation opportunity. So I want to be clear, what we're going to talk about this just for a bit. I do highly encourage parent chaperone trainings to be going on in your parish. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. We do have some resources being developed right now. We're going to have a reflection journal and some training videos that you can watch and that you can share with your chaperones to help them understand a greater scope of what youth ministry is, what youth accompaniment is, and good methods of how to do youth accompaniment. Now, these take a long time to develop. We've tapped into a lot of you to help us find video footage of what's going on in your parishes, and the person who's putting this together has been working a long time, and these are high quality that she's been able to put together. Unfortunately, the first series is going to be me talking, so it's just going to be kind of, what you get from me. So it's not like the talent is awesome, but the video quality is actually pretty good. All right. So in addition to that, we're going to do 3 formation sessions for participants. We're hoping you will schedule those for September, October, and November. There's going to be a follow-up catalog put together by the ERC, the Education Resource Center. The ladies downstairs have tons of resources. If you're looking to what can I do after NCYC, they will have a whole bunch of stuff for you to consider. We do have a youth journal in the works right now. That youth journal is going to be in a hard copy format, a little booklet, 8.5 by 5.5, that you can get printed for $3 a piece. We will print them and ship them to you, and you can use those beforehand for those prep sessions and afterwards and during NCYC. We're also looking at converting that youth journal into a participant app so that they can access the questions, the readings of the day, some other prayer experiences at NCYC. So if they would be more inclined to do some personal reflection or thinking via an app, we're looking to tap into that. There's some process that needs to go into that. I've also created a parent letter from my office to the parents of your program, so the kids in your program. If you can forward that letter on, it just gives them a little bit of a background about who we are as a delegation and how we're going to be communicating using social media, and a little bit more to get them excited about NCYC. This letter is available right now on the group leader page. Again, this is just something you can have available. Please take it, grab it, and share it, especially if you're doing a parent meeting coming up here in March or April. I strongly encourage a parent meeting in March or April. If you can hand this out to them, then that would be awesome. So here's what I recommend for you. This is not a requirement. We're not going to close your parish or kick you out of NCYC if you don't do it. But my goodness, this would be one of those things. If you're not doing this, it would be just foolish. All right. So in March or April, I'd love to see you gather your parents and your participants. We'll talk about that meeting in a little bit. But this is it's a good opportunity to collect forms and talk about the business of NCYC. I do not want you spending most of your meetings on business. Okay, if most of your time with young people is spent talking about fundraising or t-shirt designs, you are missing what youth ministry is about. So please do not focus exclusively on business, but here is a meeting that would make sense to do that. In March and May, I'd love you to gather your chaperones to talk about youth accompaniment, especially the ones you've designated as I want you to be a small group leader for young people at or before and following NCYC. You've got a lot of faith to share. Let's talk about what youth accompaniment looks like. So maybe not all of your chaperones are called to this. So if you've got some parents who are just going to be with their young people, but you don't think they're great faith role models, maybe you're not tapping into them. But for some of your chaperones, I'd like you to invest in forming them. In August, I'd like to have another parent chaperone meeting. That's because the national forms don't come out until August 15th. So here's a good chance to get them done. Finalize your rooming assignments. If you don't have that to us by May, that's your best chance to do that. And maybe to do some prayer, some spiritual formation. Maybe invest in having your parents pray for their children at that event. That's something parents don't get a chance to do a lot. And then if you want to schedule formation sessions in September, October, and November on the themes of NCYC, Blessed, Broken, and Given, we're encouraging you to do that. We will have session resources for you to help guide that process. Meeting template, basically the objective here is to get those forms completed, and just some ideas here. Use times that you're already gathering people. Invite your chaperones too, so you can start building that community. And always have food if you can. Before the meetings, we're going to invite you to run those forms off. People have asked about this. We've done this in the past, and it kind of helps. Whatever color you run, if you're going to run your forms in colors, please do not do it like a dark red or a dark blue or a dark green. We need to make copies, so keep them pastel or light colors or white. White is fine. If you want to jump into an Archdiocesan standard, youth forms in yellow, adult forms in pink, that helps when they come here, so we can track those all in, because we need to sort them all and organize them by that way eventually. Some of you did that for us last year. It makes things a little bit easier. If you can, that's awesome. If you don't, not a big deal. All right, individual registration forms, we don't care. Please don't send them to us. That's whatever you want. That's best for you to collect that information for the registration process. Select a time that works best. Send invitations out. You might want to send the forms in advance so they know what they're going to need to be collecting or completing. If you don't send the forms, at least send the information you're going to need, because if they come without their doctor's phone number or doctor's name, like I don't know what my kid's doctor's name is. I'm sorry, my bad, Dad. No, don't answer that. So that's the kind of stuff. You just want to make it easy for them to fill out the information when they are present. And then test your technology. If you're going to show promo videos, by the way, YouTube, NCYC promo videos, you're going to find tons of them. I just sat down with my 13-year-old a couple days ago and ran through the whole list with him. He saw like 15 different NCYC promo videos. He was getting kind of sick of it. During the meeting, obviously pray together, go an overview of what NCYC is, spell out your group plan, talk about fundraising preparations, dates, that if you're going to have those set, what the registration process is and how that's all going to work, and what your payment plan is and how to help people. Do not forget that there is financial assistance available. So as you're meeting, there is a financial assistance form also on the group leader page. Please encourage those families who are going through a hardship right now or who are low-income families to ask for assistance. We've already received 10 applicants for assistance right now. We usually have about 40, so we got plenty of room. Have them please complete the forms while they're in front of you. This is going to make your job a lot easier. And before they leave, please check the forms to make sure you have signatures and initials on all the sections that you need it. It's just going to make your job a heck of a lot easier. If you can, have them arrange rooming groups, then pair them up, put them into groups of 4, however you can do that. That'll make your job a little bit easier too, so you're not guessing who's going to like who. Now, I know I'll hear from a lot of you already. You sign up in May and then drama happens. That's the word you always use. You know who you are. Drama happens, and then by September, the 4 people who loved each other in May hate each other, and there's court orders opposed to everybody staying together. Anyway, we can change it. Just get it filled out as soon as you can. Codes of conduct are available from NCYC to tell you what the expectation is. If we don't have those codes of conduct to you by the April or March meeting, you can do that in your September, October meeting, or August, September meeting. And then any other groups going on, any issues going on with your local group. After the meeting, review all those forms, copy the forms. Please copy the forms, because if you mail them to me, the original hard copy, and that mailing truck bursts into flames, this has happened, and they come to me a big soggy bag full of smoky forms. Honest, that really happened. It's a fun story. Then you're off the hook and you got to get them all filled out again. So just make copies for yourself before you do anything else. Have your local safe environment coordinator verify and add those dates on your adult individual registration forms. Enter the information into your group leader portal and then mail the forms to us. If you can get them to us by the end of May, gosh, we will love you and throw parades in your honor. Okay. All that's business. All of that's just like forms and gunk, and it's registration and it's paperwork and it's bureaucratic, and it's hard to see. It's hard to see the love of Jesus in that. It's hard to see God speaking to us in that experience. But there's a reason we're doing all of this, and because we trust that young people encountering God's church and they're encountering Jesus and the sacraments and through each other at NCYC is worth it. I mean, at the end of the day, we kick ourselves here to make this easy for you, and we do it because we believe that in gathering our young people and gathering them with the adults from your parishes who are going to love the hell out of them before, during, and after NCYC, we trust that this is worth it. So let's imagine ways that we can use NCYC to help these young people to identify themselves as Catholic, to help them to view themselves as a Catholic disciple of Jesus, and to internally commit to practicing their faith regularly. We want young people to embrace this for themselves. We believe that NCYC is something that's going to strengthen the faith of the adults in your community too. Those parents who go with NCYC, those parents who are praying for the teens who are going to NCYC, we want our young people to come home to a strong, vibrant parish, a strong, vibrant domestic church, the family. We get excited about thinking that NCYC is changing our diocese. I believe that, and that's one of the things that we get really excited about. And then how can we use NCYC to better equip leaders in your parish, in your community, pastoral, council, catechists, small group leaders, whatever it is that you're going to depend on as a group leader. When you come back, you cannot do youth ministry by yourself. Nobody can. Please don't try. Bring in adults. And if you can come back with equipped small group leaders who are skilled at accompanying young people, your job is going to be easier and your ministry to your young people is going to grow exponentially. This is what gets us excited about NCYC. And so I ask this question. What if it's not any of this? What if NCYC is just a 3-day fun trip? This is one of those fun things I talk about when I go meet with my national peers all from across the country. Last week I was with Colorado Springs with a whole bunch of other diocesan directors, and they're like, "How many do you got going to NCYC? How many do you got going to NCYC?" And I say, "Oh, I got a whole bunch of people going to NCYC, but that's not important. What's exciting to me is what we're going to do with those people when they come back. Because if we are not serious about growing the faith of our young people, the vibrancy of our parishes, and building leaders, even though we have the largest group in the country, I say this quite honestly, we will stop doing NCYC. I will pick up these marbles and invest them someplace else, because our goal, our existence, is not to have the largest NCYC delegation. In some ways, having the largest NCYC delegation just gives us more responsibility to be so much more fruitful with changing the lives of our young people in our parishes. So if we're not serious about the mission of this program, maybe we should have fewer people going. So I just recommit to that, double down on that. Let's make NCYC bear fruit. And just something for you as a group leader, I just want to challenge you to come to this Faith Formation Leader Conference and Retreat May 2nd and 3rd. If you go to dbqarch.org/events, you can get more information there. Costs range from $20 to $100. For the whole event is $100. The main event is going to be on Thursday, May 2nd, featuring Dr. Edward Sri. If you can come spend a day with him talking about how you can grow as a disciple of Jesus, that's going to be so helpful. Thursday night, we're doing a little bit of a mini retreat for you, for all Faith Formation leaders. And then Friday morning, we're going to be targeting on how to do adolescent ministry. So it's going to be kind of like focusing on youth ministry, but also for campus ministers at Catholic schools, theology teachers, and anybody else who intersects with or cares for adolescents, talking about issues of sexual morality, pornography, and other things that are just facing and young people are struggling with, and who they are as sexual creatures and adolescents. So that's what we're going to be talking about Friday morning, and a few more updates too on May 3rd. So if you can take the time to commit to this, dbqarch.org/events. Go ahead and get signed up right now, May 2nd and May 3rd. The costs range depending on how much you can attend. All right, at this point, that's all of my spiel. I try to keep it as concise as I can. The group leader portal is challenging. If you do not have your login or password, please shoot me an email and I will get that to you, so you can log in and start playing around on that. You don't have to get everybody registered today, but it might not be a bad idea to log in, at least kick it around a little bit and see how it works. If you want to register a few people and then delete them just to play and see how it works, feel free to do that. At least get yourself logged in and registered. That might be a good way to start. Otherwise, if there's any questions or concerns about NCYC, go ahead and throw them in the chat at this point, and I will stay on for a few more minutes to do that. Otherwise, I will be compiling a list of notes from this presentation, and you can read those online. They'll be posted on the Group Leader webpage, or you can send me questions at any time after this, and I will be more than happy to address that. Also, if you are looking seriously at how do we grow our youth program beyond NCYC, and you want me to come out and sit down with you and your pastor and your parish council and anybody else who cares, I am more than excited to do that. Let's just get it on the calendar and schedule it up. I'm not kidding about that offer. If you want a whole afternoon to just dream about what youth ministry could look like at your site, please know that we are here to help you with that. And not just youth ministry, but if you want to talk about ways of engaging parents after baptism or ways of growing your adult faith formation, please know that everyone here in the Faith Formation Division is excited to help you do that. Don't forget to tap into the ERC, the Education Resource Center, too. If you would like some resources shipped out to you, they do that free of charge. All I got to do is send it back to them. So they are incredibly helpful. Any questions at all, please do not hesitate to ask any of us. In the meantime, any questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat. Not seeing any, I'm going to go ahead and end this call. Email with questions. If you have group size changes and they're confirmed, I know some of you said we might be having them, but if you have any confirmed group size changes, please send me a formal email. So I see Alice, you think you have 2 more interested. If those are 2 more yeses for sure, send them to me in an email and I'll go ahead and make that addition to our buy-sell list. Otherwise, thank you all for everything you do to help our young people know Jesus. Please love them. Please love these young people and share your faith with them. They are so much deserving of our love and our gospel. All right. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day.